We are live. My name is Stuart, and you are attending the Ask Stuart Hour, aka Ask Anything. What you're looking at, friends, is the only slide you're going to see the whole time, the whole hour, because this is not a webinar. Let's call it the unwebinar. I'm here for you. It's your agenda. Ask me what's on your mind. Got a problem in groups? Got a problem with your business? Let me know. Maybe I can help solve it. Got an opportunity? You need some tips? Maybe we can help. And when I say we, I mean you're a part of this too, friends. You can be a fly on the wall, and you can listen in and listen to everybody else's challenges. Let's call them a challenge, not a problem, an opportunity. And that's fine. You can also chime in and give your ideas, sort of like a best practice sharing. Now, we're going to have a large group on this call, and I will endeavor to get to everybody's comments and questions. If I don't, we'll figure something out. We'll get them posted somewhere. But what normally happens is we pick up a lot of steam as things go. So we on today's call, we have a combination of my boot campers. Hello, boot campers. Welcome back. And I have some guests like Al and Danielle and Michelle and Tom. You guys are guests here. I'm so glad you're here. And there's one other thing, friends. If you are courageous enough to want to turn on your microphone so we can hear your beautiful voice, you can ask your question. We can chat for a minute. You can shut your mic back off. I'll shut it back off. Let me know. I'm happy to do that. Who's courageous enough to do that? Sometimes we get somebody, sometimes not, and that's okay. Now, I also have a list of questions that I'm going to get to that folks already sent in. We've got a question from Denise, Larissa, Estelle, and Karen, and Sam that I want to get to today. But first, another sip of coffee before we get rolling. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? Okay, let's just see here. Al says he loved GSSS. Thank you, Al. I did too. And believe it or not, but it is still a 24/7 gig for me and Rose Lonnie, my teammate, who does all the web stuff, because we're trying to make the login stuff smoother, and we're also changing over the boot camp platform. So for my loyal, amazing, phenomenal boot campers, you got my note that it's offline temporarily. I hope to get you back online by day's end today as we migrate to a new platform. Don't I sound impressive when I say that? Do I sound impressive when I say migrate? Because that's tech talk, friends, and I am not a tech guy. So I can't often use the word migrate to a new platform, but it feels really good. I feel very smart, and I hope I have impressed you. But don't be too impressed, because I know just enough to make me dangerous and to break things. Tom said we'll be running a third marathon. Tom, the answer to that is probably not. If you ask my wife, she will say definitely not. I lost count of how many half marathons I've run. I'm running another one in December, the St. Jude, which is here in Memphis. I haven't signed up for a second. I'd like to run several half marathons. If I'm training for one, might as well train for them all. But the marathon, I don't know. And it's more of a mind thing, Tom, than it is a physical thing. I just get bored. I just get bored running for 4 hours, man. Are you a runner? Nancy's in the house. Nancy said, I thought I was late when you said you only had 1 minute left. You are not late, Nancy. You are right on time. Welcome, boot camper. Let's see here. Debbie said, love the summit. Great, Debbie. I'm so glad you did. It really blew my mind. And we'll talk about it with the level of variety and professionalism, ideas, and of course we've got that Facebook group I hope you're a part of. The energy there is amazing. Jean Ann's in the house. Good morning, Jean Ann. Boot camper, great job with the summit. Have we had Travel Joy give a demo to boot camp yet? If not, we should. Jean Ann, I'm with you. So I met this guy Dio. He's the dude who built it, right, with a partner. And I thought he made a great presentation, and he had just come back from his wedding. You guys don't know that. I do. And he did that special for us. So I am in dialogue with him. And Gina, and I do believe I can get him on a future coaching show just like this. So we could talk, ask questions, and if you want a separate demo, we can certainly do that because there's been so much talk about his product, Travel Joy. I love it. Al said, only been an agent for 2 months, so I'm here to learn from everyone. Super cool. Paris is in the house, a new boot camp member. Paris, I haven't signed you up yet because we have, get this now, you're going to like this too, transitional difficulties. We're migrating to a new platform. I got to say it again. Paris, I'll get you hooked up soon, I promise. Barbara's in the house. She says, hello from Tucker, GA. I don't know where Tucker is. I know it's in Georgia. Welcome, Barbara. I'm glad you're here. Let's see here. Olga's in the house. Welcome, Olga. I'm glad you're here. And Ann has a question too. So I'm going to go backwards because somebody asked a question back here. Hold on, because I want to get to everybody's questions. I want to get digging in and respect your time. Okay. Now, so Kay has a question. Now, get this here. I'm going to read this. I may be the only one this has become a problem. What do you do to eliminate so many emails or sort them to different folders to view as I have time? Now, this is a huge issue. I don't care if you're in the travel business or any business. We're bombarded with emails, aren't we? And it's so difficult to keep up. And the problem is, my problem is, once I get a day or two behind, I'm in deep, deep doo-doo. Haha, you said doo-doo. And you almost can't pull yourself back up. So one solution I would like to have, and if you've got a solution, friends, go ahead and type it now. Whatever you type, everyone cannot see, just so you know. Only me. I wish this platform offered the ability for you to see what you're all typing, but it doesn't yet. Bummer. So, okay, I would definitely say, number one, you definitely want to do those folders. So as things come in, especially if you get regular emails from sources. So if you get, let's say, TRO, their news update, if you get the Travel Weekly update, you can have all news items go to that folder, right? And then, so I would sort things out like that, sort them out like that. And the best you can do so that they automatically go into a folder is the number one thing, okay? And the second thing I would do, Kay, and man, I preach it, but I don't do it. So I'm telling you something that I would like to walk, but I'm just going to talk right now, is set a specific time of day, maybe 2, maybe 3 times a day, to actually check your emails. You know, what if you set your time to do emails first thing in the morning, which of course is important, right before you break for lunch, and again before you break at the end of the day. Now, what that takes is the word begins with a D. Can you guess? Can you guess the word begins with a D, then has an I, and then has an S, and then has a C? You got it. Discipline. I got ADHD. I don't like to use that excuse, but man, I can't do any one thing for too long a time, and I get just too darn tempted to check email. And you know what happens when we multitask? I'm going to end this discussion with this note. You know what happens when we multitask, friends, and don't tell me you're a good multitasker, because it's proven scientifically you can't possibly achieve more, accomplish more, do each task with the same level of expertise and perfection by switching from task to task to task. It's been proven. Yes, ladies, even you. I know I have done workshops and gigs all over the country, and there's always a lady who stands up and says, Stuart, I'm calling on the carpet for that because we do a better job of multitasking. Am I right? Okay, but I'm telling you, maybe you are definitely better than me. But you know, if you can stay on task, get that project done, do it. Now, what I do, like when I've been building Summit, it's literally been an enormous amount of labor to get this puppy done. I had to shut my email entirely. I had to unplug my phone. So those are my tips how to handling the email. You're not alone. Okay, we're all suffering from that. It is completely out of control. I couldn't agree with you more, especially those darn robocalls, right? The robocalls can drive you absolutely insane. Okay, Danielle, I'm coming to your question next. Friends, you got a question, you got an issue, you got an opportunity, you got a comment that you want to make to somebody else's discussion, go ahead and do it. Hold on there, coffee time. All right, we got a new boot camper, Denise. She just started boot camp, and she watched one of the videos in week 1 because basically boot camp rolls out over a 4-week period, so you only have access to 1 week at a time, so you're not overwhelmed. So she asked this question. In week 1, video 1, promotional group, you say a good agent never refers to the word group. What do you suggest for an alternative? Does everybody understand what I'm talking about? Now, I did discuss this a little bit in the Group Sales Success Summit, GSSS. Remember, there's a huge difference between affinity and promotional. And really, the summit was largely based on affinity groups. And boot camp is largely based on affinity groups. Because a promotional group, friends, you're just getting a deal. As my grandmother would say, such a deal. You're promoting a deal, an offer, an opportunity. It's probably going to be a limited time offer, limited space, first come, first serve. Good words to use. And sometimes the brand or supplier will give it to you. Hey, we've got a deal, or your consortium or your host, go and promote this. Cool. Or maybe you reach out. You are proactive and you reach out to make a deal because you need something to put out there to promote. It's not a group, friends, even though you might be selling into group space. It's not a group. Technically it is, but from the consumer perspective, it is not, because once you say the word group, they will freak out and say, this is my family, I don't want to be part of a group. I just want to go on vacation. Does that make sense? So she asked the question, what other word do you use? You just use what it is, an opportunity, a deal, a sale, a limited time offer. If you can go right now, have I got a special for you, and I've only got 3 staterooms. I've got 2 seats on the coach, or I've got 3 rooms at the resort. I would call it exactly what it is, friends. Now, those people who if you sell multiple people in, they may end up meeting and say, "Oh, your travel agent is Denise. Oh, so is mine. What a coinky-dink." Write that down. Good word. What a coinky-dink that we're all here same time. Amazing. Well, we got that special offer too from our agent Denise. What you don't want to do is set up a private dining experience or set up a private shore excursion that they don't want, unless, now follow me, last note on this, then we move on, unless you have set up a group, you're holding space temporarily, or they've given it to you, and it already includes a special offer. Friends, I'm a bigger believer in value add than price it down. Discounts are damned. Okay, discounts are damned to convince the consumer that it's all commodity-based shopping. We've got to control the conversation and make sure consumers know a vacation is not a commodity. Say it with me right now. Take a deep breath on 3. 1, 2, 3. A vacation is not a commodity. Because if they just end up with the bare bones, stripped down, off the shelf product, they're going to come back unhappy, disappointed because they missed something. So if you can value add it, and if it includes an excursion, if it includes a dinner, that's more better, because it's harder for them to shop it and easier for you to market it. Right? Makes sense? All right. I hope that helps. Let's see if we got any more questions here. Yeah, we'll go to Danielle. Question. If I'm an operator, how do I engage more direct affinity group business when most of our clients currently come through the trade? If I'm an operator. So Danielle, let me make sure I understand this, and you may post something that's going to come way down. I may not see it till later. So let me ask, I'm asking out loud, if I'm an operator. So you're a tour operator. How do I engage more direct affinity group business when most of our clients currently come through the trade? Well, You know, it's interesting that you asked this question because we have the majority of agents in the house today, and they, of course, want to take all the business they can get and give it to you. Now, operators, it's all cool. We have some operators that are exclusively through the trade, through the agent community. Their distribution is strictly 100% through, but that's very rare. Almost all operators, cruise lines, whatever, will take direct business. And the main reason, listen, everybody, everyone loved Danielle because she's doing what she's got to do. And do you know why operators and cruise lines and resorts take direct business? Because consumers said, some consumers complained, no, I don't want to book through an agent. Why? Because they used an agent that did them wrong, did them bad, didn't do good enough, and they lost trust. They lost faith. So they refused. And they said, let me in. I want to book with you. Believe me, I've been on the supplier side. 50% of my corporate career worked on the supplier side, the brand side. The cost of operating a reservation center is enormous, friends. So we can't for a second, what I'm going to tell Danielle now, we can't for a second blame tour operators or cruise lines or resort companies for taking direct business and promoting it. Because if they don't, they're going to miss out on business. Forget about that. My friend Mike Marshev, did you see Mike? He was a part of the summit, and he's a great friend. He's one of the best keynoters around and workshop guys, and you should join his inner circle. He says, and I love stealing his line, but I give him credit. There's two kinds of people in the world. People you can help and the people you can't. Quit focusing on the people you cannot help and focus on the ones you can. So Danielle, to ask that question, basically, to direct more affinity groups, you're going to do exactly what the agents should be doing. You've got to build an appealing and alluring and enticing and exciting brand. You've got to give me, as a consumer, a reason to say, man, oh man, I wouldn't think of going anyplace else. I need Danielle in my corner, in my pocket, as my group company, because I've been to your site, I've checked on your social media, people are raving about you, they love you, you're the best at what you do, and I hope, Danielle, that your company is kind of niche, because friends, whether you're a travel agent or an operator, the bigger you are, the more generalized your service, the harder it is to brand, and the harder it is for me as a consumer to understand who you are and what you do. The more focused you are in your business, and I know it hurts. You think it'll hurt you if you say, nope, don't do that. Nope, don't do that. I do this. Trust me, it will work. You want to become the celebrity authority. The celebrity authority, what you do, Danielle, all of you. And you know, you if you want, you can sit back and wait for the business to come, but you need to engage. Whether you use Melissa's concept of meetup or you join other Facebook groups, because those are groups where people are talking about the kind of travel, the kind of experience you offer. So I ask this of everybody. Are you joining other groups and participating in dialogue and conversation? The last thing in the world you want to do, friends, is go sell your services in a group, because guess what they're going to do? Whammo, wacko, they're going to delete you from the group. No selling. No selling. Have conversations with people. Make them want to get to know you. Let them ask you for your URL to check you out. So all you want to do is impress people with your knowledge, with your experience, with your enthusiasm. Danielle, that's what I would do. Just give out free stuff. What did I do for 12 days in the summit, friends? What did I do for 12 days? I gave out tons and tons and tons of free stuff. And it was a filter process. Friends, look, there's no reason for me to play games with you. Number one goal was I want to help you build your business, get excited. And I knew in the filter process that there's going to be a core group that are going to either buy boot camp because you want to pursue this, you want to stay committed, you're willing to put up the big bucks, or you're going to buy GSS for keeps. And I'm happy with that. I helped 2,500 agents plus. And there's a core group that paid money that I can continue helping. But I'm friends with all of you. Now I've got a list of people. This is what you guys have to do. All right, let's see here. Let me see. Hold on. We got lots of. Okay, Ann says, how do you incentivize someone you're entering into a joint venture with? For example, Electra on a special interest cruise. Do you give them money? Do you give them a commission split? Are you listening, friends? Welcome, Ann. Great question, Ann. My guess is, I don't know. Are you a boot camper or are you a guest here? In any case, that's a super duper question. I'm going to ask it again, friends. How do you incentivize someone you're entering into a joint venture with? Are you ready for the answer? And it's not for you to decide. I'm going to say it again. It's not for you to decide. How do you know if I'm the guy you're making a deal with, a JV, a joint venture? Love those words. Love those words. Why don't you wait for me to tell you what I want? I mean, and maybe you make the best spaghetti and meatballs in town. And you know I'm going to love your spaghetti and meatballs. And you say, Stuart, if you come and if you be the group leader and if you do the lectures, I'm going to give you lifetime supply of Ann's spaghetti and meatballs. Lifetime supply. And you think, done deal, best in the world. You think because you know what I'm going to love. And I look at you and I say, okay, well, that's fine. I'll take it, but I'll give it to my family because I don't eat red meat. I can't eat beef. If they were turkey balls, I could do it. And this is the truth. And then I'm going to ask you for more, something that's going to excite me, but you just gave something away you never needed to. So never offer, never, ever, ever offer a free cabin, a free room, a free seat on that coach. Because they may not want it, they may not need it. Don't think you know what I want. So now you're asking, well, how do I know what Stuart wants? He certainly doesn't want spaghetti and meatball dinners, unless they're turkey balls. Ask. See, your job, you're salespeople, friends. You are travel experts and you're salespeople. And one of two things is going to happen, and then we're going to move on. During our many conversations, and we're going to have together, when you're learning about me as a lecturer, what I can do, how I can do about my lists, how I'm going to promote, what this group trip is going to look like, I may slip and tell you, man, oh man, I can't wait to get there. And I one thing I love doing is getting a nice massage. Well, maybe that's it. Well, maybe I do say the problem is I'm a little short on cash, so it'd be awesome if there's some way you can give me a deal or a discount on my stateroom. You know, there's some group leaders who are spoiled. They know too much. Too many other travel agents have spilled the beans, have told them about gap points, have told them about freebies. And that's wrong. That's none of their business, friends. That's your business. You never reveal what you've got in your pocket. And if they don't organically reveal what's important to them, what they want, then ask. Say, hey, Stuart, I want to ask you a question. I know we're looking at about 20, 24 staterooms here, but maybe we can hit the 30. Maybe we get 36. What can I do? How can I sweeten the pie? How can I get you excited to work even harder, to send the extra email, to do more presentations, to really get into it? What can I do? What gift can I give you if we hit certain numbers? Key word, and if we hit certain numbers. There should never be a gimme unless it's a proven group. They've done it before, which is rare, but maybe. You never give anybody a gimme because, friends, I've been in the business long enough, it's going to cost you dearly. Because if it's a gimme, then why would I work hard? You're going to give me a freebie. Why would I work hard? And I hope that helped. Let's see here. Della. Hey, Della's in the house. Welcome, Della. Just saying hi. Michelle says, love Travel Joy. The ability to streamline forms, emails, and credit card payments is a game changer. Love the ability to see if clients have viewed or opened emails sent through there. There you go. See, so Travel Joy has a really a whole list of benefits and options. So, I use MailChimp for that. So it was really crazy. I had some people saying, Stuart, I didn't get the daily email that, where's the link for it in the summit? And I'm like, you did. In fact, you opened it at 8 o'clock this morning. I can see when it was opened, when it was delivered. Well, true. That's true. Hey, listen, things happen. We get busy. We get crazy. Susan says, I'm really looking forward to this experience. I do have a chicken versus egg question. Do you set up the cruise first or get your experts on board so you can promote that? I'm a pretty new franchise owner, about 3.5 months. Did everybody hear that question? Susan, welcome to the wonderful world of travel and good luck with your franchise. So here's the deal. If you're doing a speculative or promotional group, Susan, you can get the deal and then you can promote it. But we're not talking promo. We're not talking spec. We're talking affinity. And guess what comes last? The product. What comes first is the client. How do you know where I want to go, what I want to do, how much I want to spend, how many days I want to be away, what level category I want, what time of the year, blah, 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 blah. You see what I'm saying? All right, Susan, this goes for all of you. I know you've got preferred suppliers. Everyone's hitting over your head. Sell more of this, sell more of them, sell some of this. And maybe you have products that you love, you adore. Maybe you're here, like me. I'm just saying, I'm the biggest brand ambassador for Amber Waterways. I've done 3. One of them was my honeymoon. One of them was my partial ship river cruise group of family and friends. Yes, a charter, partial ship charter. So I'm a big brand ambassador for them and Celebrity Cruises, Palace Resorts, huge brand ambassador. But you can't pick the product first. Let the client pick the product with your guidance. Sometimes, friends, last note on this, then we move on to one of the written ones. Sometimes a client, have you ever had a client who asks for a specific product? I know you have. Loyalty is great. Friends, if you've got a client that is loyal to AMA or loyal to any company, then that's half the battle done. You don't have to sell them on that product or go present different kinds of products as long as you believe that product is going to do a great job for them on this particular group. So sometimes they already have loyalty program, loyalty points, and they want to stick with it. Maybe they've done it before individually or they've heard about it, but it's your job to confirm, to validate if they've made the good choice, right? And if they've not made a good choice, if you say, you know what, this ship, this hotel, this resort, this coach is not going to be good, let me tell you what might be a better option. Let me tell you why. Then you earn your points. You earn your brownie points every day. Thank you, Susan, for that. All right, here we go. Next question is from Larissa. Larissa says, my question is how to pursue faith-based travel as a niche when I also want to do romance travel, destination weddings, and groups. I don't want to confuse the visitor or marketing message. Thanks, Larissa. Did you get that? So what I'm seeing here is great stuff, Larissa, because basically you know what your passion points are right here. Faith-based travel, romance travel, which includes destination weddings, I get it, and groups. Now, of course, destination weddings are a form of group, and faith-based travel, of course, that could be individuals or it can be groups. So what I would like to do is just sort of give you an example of what I do. There are some professional speakers out there. They have one set speech. You pay them a lot of money, him or her. They come out, they do their speech, game over, game done. You know what you're going to get. They have one specialty, one speech. And obviously, they're good at it, and they get the money. There are other speakers who have a variety of topics. Now, for me, when I first got into the speaking business, tell me if you can relate to this, there were so many things I loved talking about, I was passionate for, but it confused people. They didn't know who I was. I was out of focus. And it took me a long time, like I teach you, to have a presence on the web, to have an online brochure that tells my story, who I am, and what I can do to change your life. So not now, but if you ever go to my website and go to keynotes, you'll see there are really 4 key areas of specialty plus travel. Travel is a whole separate entity because understand, folks, my heart and soul is in travel, but I do keynotes and workshops and training for businesses entirely outside of the travel industry. Okay. But everything on that list of 4 things, entrepreneurship and startups, loyalty, just sales and marketing in general. Okay, those are 3. So I have key areas. So when somebody comes to my site, they know. So Larissa, that's what you do too. On your website, you boldly say, here are my specialties. We are experts in, and maybe you can divide it up into 4 quadrants or however it lays out, and you say that word, but make sure it's a consumer friendly word, friends, because we tend to use industry words, jargon that consumers don't know. Don't fall into that trap. Use user friendly words. So a consumer would say, oh yeah, I'm looking for that. Oh yeah, you get me, and let them click. And then you have 1 full page, Larissa, 1 page of why I should never go anywhere else to book my destination wedding or on my faith-based trip. What makes you an expert? That's what I would do. Because you're still displaying that you're a niche. And the worst thing to do, friends, is I'm just telling you, listen, something about me you're going to learn, love it or not, is that I'm going to tell you things I think you need to hear, but you don't necessarily want to hear. If you've got that website that it's screaming deal sales $2.99 and you're doing nothing but promoting the suppliers, you're promoting everybody else's brand and you come last, that's a losing proposition. Now, it was Nolan, there were plenty of others. Dodd Hudson, there were plenty of others, right? Don said this in his speech, my friend Don. You talk about a big shot keynote speaker. He's amazing. He talked about selling value. And he said, if all your focus is on selling somebody else's product, you got to go back and rethink your efforts. So, Larissa, I think that's what you can do. I hope that helps. And I got more questions here. Hey, just a quick announcement for my boot campers. I just posted, and I have to put it in boot camp, that our next get-together here, a live business coaching, is going to be August 29th. Normally, right, we do Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And I'm a guy, I like, consistency. So it's either Tuesdays or Thursdays. Well, I picked a Wednesday. Are you okay with that? A Wednesday from 2 to 3 Central Time. Wednesday the 29th, and that's from my boot campers. So I'll be posting that link so you can sign up for that and get your questions ready for there. And I have a poll. So while I'm looking up the next one, I'm going to get a questionnaire, friends. I'm going to, here we go. There's a poll. Would you guys participate in this poll for me, please? I will send out a little bit of a survey because I want to get feedback. I want to get feedback from all of you. So I know what more you want, what less you want, who resonated best. Now, I know I put their suppliers. Granted, I know there are some stronger supplier speakers and some weaker. There are some stronger business coaches, some weaker. There are some stronger agent spotlights, some weaker. So this is a very, 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 very general question. Very general question. So I have an idea. You're going to be the first to hear this as I begin putting the planning touches on Group Sales Success Summit 2019. I know what you want more of, what you want less of, so I can keep raising the bar. All right, I think everybody's answered the question. I'm going to close the poll, and I'm going to share the results. There we go. You and I, friends, we're looking at it at the same time. So, number 1, you want more business coaches as speakers or interviews. 45%. Number 2, you want more agent spotlight interviews. 34%. And coming in third place, but still a healthy number, 21%. That's almost a quarter of you, want more suppliers of speakers or interviews. So that really tells me a story too. And I promise you, I'm going to send out another poll and get more information from you so I can build, raise the bar still. Okay. All right. So Susan, I hope that helped you. Julie said having a bad connection, losing audio. It's at her end. Yes, there will be a recording. No problem. Tucker GA is right by Stone Mountain GA. Well, that's cool. Sounds like a beautiful area, Tom. You're lucky to live there. It sounds like. Excuse me. Susan says, I have a ton of folders in my email. I make broad categories: cruise providers, land providers, training, clients. Then I make subfolders: Royal Caribbean, Disney, etc. I love it, Susan. So you really get micro. So we're going back to that kickoff question that Kay had asked, I think, and it was about how do you organize the never-ending flow of emails. And Susan says that she's got a ton of folders, and ton is capitalized. Thank you, Susan. Susan said, for me, it's not checking email, it's actually dealing with the email. I get it. That's right, because you want to respond quick. I totally get it. And everyone guessed the word before: discipline. Estelle said discipline. Hey, Estelle, I've got your question coming up next. Tom said it. Leslie says, constantly checking email is a huge distraction. Folders and a 2-day email checking twice a day is the only way to get anything done in a day. So there's Leslie's solution. Thank you for sharing that. So number one, folders, and she does a 2 times a day check. There you go. I love it. Kay says, thanks for your advice. You're most welcome. Leslie said there was a lot of interesting discussion in the GSSS about TCs. Some say sell them, and some say offer to the group leader. Right, because Dan Chappelle, right, my friend Dan, talked about, different options of using the TC rather than giving it away, which you don't have to. What's the best way to handle someone who is otherwise a fantastic Pied Piper or group leader, but is anticipating free travel as being one of their perks, since they have such a good following? Leslie, that's a great question, and I'm going to answer that question. If you have a group leader who they want to travel free, that's their goal, okay? And remember, when we say free, friends, free, especially when it comes to a cruise or any kind of a trip, it's very difficult to define free. Does it include taxes and gratuities and fees? There's so many things. Be very, very careful when you say free, because when a consumer hears free, they think they're never reaching into their wallet, right? So I'm going to just say right now that if you are offering free travel or reduced price travel, you need to very, very, very clearly define it. One of the things in group boot camp that we didn't even talk about in the GSSS is that you need to give every group leader a group agreement letter. And I teach you in boot camp exactly the 6 key elements of a group agreement letter. So you write it. And I have all my boot campers steal it, use it, own it. You never want to do a group, friends. Never. That's pretty profound. Never is a big word. I don't care if it's your best friend in the world. You still never want to do a group with a Pied Piper, group leader, whatever you want to call him or her, without a signed agreement. And it does not have to be complex. That's the beauty of my formula for a group agreement letter. And you outline how somebody is going to earn that incentive. So how do you handle that? That's what Leslie's asking. So number one, there's no gimmies. There's got to be, and maybe they know what the TC levels are, 1 for 15 if it's, here, or if it's a hotel, it's a different number. If they're too smart for their own good, then what are you going to do? But what you want to do is protect yourself, because you never want to guarantee something that you may not earn. What if it's a failure, Leslie, and you've already guaranteed you're going to give it? You're in big trouble. So there has to be a minimum hurdle. There has to be. And any Pied Piper, listen to me, friends, look at me, look up here. Any Pied Piper worth their salt who is confident that they're going to bring in the people will say, that's no problem. We're definitely going to hit 8 staterooms. You got to protect yourself, friends. But here's a little secret that I think a couple people mentioned in Summit too, is who's to say you can't go back and negotiate or use your gap points to buy that down? and get 1 for 10 or whatever. Why can't you do that? And it's none of their business. You can tell them that if they know it already. I mean, some of their other agent shared their business with them. They're savvy. They know you get a freebie. Define freebie, because even when you get the TC, it ain't free. It doesn't include gratuities and taxes, etc. Who's responsible for that, etc. You outline the group agreement letter. You make it very clear that that's it. But your contract with the supplier may be 1 for 10, and that's your business, friends. This is what businesses do. We're smart business people. We protect ourselves. We don't give away the shop. That's what I would like to say. A, define what free travel is, and B, define how and when it's earned. And another thing, friends, is if you're offering money, okay, if there's pay, or if you're afraid, well, we may not reach that 8 stateroom, so I can't guarantee it free. Friends, I would collect money from that Pied Piper. Hey, you pay for the stateroom now, and I will give you money back in your account when we hit it. Because here's what happens, friends. I can't tell you, and I work for Celebrity Cruises, I work for Insight Vacation. I can tell you what happens sometimes. As you get closer to the departure date, you get cancellations. If they call you to cancel, okay, so you know about it, but what if you miss your TC earning level? You're in big trouble. But what if they call a supplier direct and they cancel, and you don't know? It's not on the manifest you have, and you forgot to do the finalizing, you forgot to do the reconciliation right before it departs to see that, and you give cash away, you give money away, and something you didn't earn comes out of your pocket. So you always want to pay out after you've earned it, after it's a done deal, it's set in stone, then you can pay out. You have to take control. Paris says, can current client transfer over to a new host if they have or haven't paid for their cruise from a former host agency? Or do I lose the commission on a client? Can a current client transfer over to a new host? So here's the deal. This gets kind of messy. Paris, it's really hard for me to give you a straight up answer to this, because some of you who are working for host agencies, you have a contract that says you can't, if you leave, you can't take any clients with you. So I'm just giving different perspectives. All right, so if you change hosts or go independent or whatever, those clients are not yours. They may be part of the host. Now, I don't know what your agreement says. And so the second issue, if there's no issue there, okay, then it's up to the supplier too. First of all, you need to get the consumer's permission that they want to transfer the booking. Number two, you got to work with the individual supplier, Paris, because some suppliers will let you switch, some suppliers will not. Some suppliers will ask for written permission to come from the consumer to make the change. And sometimes when that change happens, you got to be very careful something doesn't happen. Is a commission going to change? Were you getting a higher commission or some kind of benefit because it was booked here, but when it moves over, it disappears? It's dangerous. Be careful. It's risky. But I understand your question because it does happen. I hope that helps. So Danielle, thank you for qualifying. You said for your tour operator and a DMC. Who here knows what a DMC is? Because you guys, travel guys and gals, you should be using DMCs, right, Danielle? You should be using destination management companies. Here's why. If you want to forever avoid selling off-the-shelf, bare-bone, stripped-down products, because they will shop you till they drop you, you become nothing more than a commodity. It's all price-based. You need to value add it. I like to say you need to supersize it. You need to create the package. Remember, I gave you a free boot camp video. You need to create the package. And a lot of times, it's best to call on a destination management company. They are a local, small operator, Danielle, tell me if I get it right, that has a very keen, very specific expertise level at doing usually one thing phenomenal. A tour of this site, let's say, a lecture on this category. This is exactly what we do. And they give a very high level of service, very high touch. They'll meet your guests, right? Either the person, the DMC person like Danielle, or they have the experts. There you go. Okay. Okay, here we go, Estelle. From Ready, Set, Fun, Travel. I'd like to pose this question for the coaching session. One thing I struggle with is the approach. I fret over whether we'll run. Back up. I fret over whether I will ruin my chances of winning someone over to book group travel for the first words that come out of my mouth. Do you have any suggestions for a winning approach, making that first impression? And is it better to reach out to them via email with information, or is it more important to push to get an appointment to speak face to face? So many people are super busy these days, of course, and it can be a challenge to get people to pay attention to just an email. I honestly have tons of questions, but I don't want to be the one who tries to take up all your time. Don't worry, Estelle, this is the right place for it. And this goes also with Karen's question. Karen is a boot camp member, South Lake Travel. So hang on, I want to connect the two. One thing I would really like you to discuss further are these I have an idea, would like to meet you for 15-minute calls. Inevitably, the response will be, well, tell me about your idea first before I give you my 15 minutes. So what's your response to that? All right, so let me explain Estelle and Karen. So first of all, back up for a second. The way I believe you need to get up and get out, you need to get up and get out to source new business. You can't just wait for them to come plopping in your lap. Wouldn't that be lovely if it did? But it doesn't happen all the time. You got to put yourself in opportunities' way. And one great way to do that is to stop looking in everyone else's backyard, look in your own backyard to source groups, and start having meetings with local people. You're going to ask for a 15-minute meeting. I do it all the time. I've done it for years. It is proving phenomenally successful. At the very least, listen to me carefully, I've made new friends. At the very most, I've booked thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of keynotes locally here in Memphis. And here's what I do. Here's the answer right here. This is for you, Karen, and this is for you, Estelle. If you send an email, remember I talked about this in Group Sales Success Summit, and you spill the beans with your big idea, you give them an immediate option to hit delete or to say no. It's over. You don't even get a chance to say, but wait. So that's a losing proposition. Number two, if you send an email or make a phone call and say, listen, can I have 15 minutes? I have an idea. That's probably a losing proposition because people want to sell them on their ideas all day long. They probably get 100 of those calls too. Right? It's the same deal. You know what? I have enough ideas. Thanks very much. I don't need to hear any more ideas. We have all the big ideas we need. We're busy. Call me in a year. So there's two approaches that will usually fail. Let's come back to approach 3. This is for you, Estelle, and this is for you, Karen. You're just asking for a 15-minute meeting. You're not going to tell them you have a big idea. You are going to tell them that you want to meet and learn about them. And you have to be specific. You have some questions. And there are a handful of reasons that will get you in the door. Let's say, here's an example. Let's say you are you're a local business like they are, and you're a customer. And you send an email or you make a phone call. Do both. Send them a letter. I'm a huge letter writer. Discussion for another boot camp session because I talk about this all the time. Hey, I've been giving you my business for years. I'm so impressed with your people, your service, and your product. We're both local business owners. Can I buy you a cup of coffee? Well, give me 15 minutes. I just want to learn how you do it. I want to meet the person behind it all. Right? Maybe they've done something great. They've made a speech. They've written a book. And you say, listen, can you give me 15 minutes? I want to hear your story. That's what I say. Stu Cohen, that's what I say. I want to hear your story. I just want to hear it 15 minutes. I just want to hear your story. People are flattered by that when they know that your interest is in them. Because friends, if you go into this meeting self-centered, selfish, not selfless, they'll know it. They won't have time for you because you're just another salesperson. So you have to really sincerely in your heart of hearts have interest in learning about that person and their business. But you need to do your homework. You need to know about them. So you don't just sit there saying, tell me about it. Ask specific questions. Well, when you created this product, how did that work? When you wrote that book, what was it like? You know, what's your biggest challenge opening up your days in the morning? What do you do on slow days? I don't know. It's got to be specific. I always went in with a handful of questions, a notebook that I was going to ask. And you know what happens, friends? Last point, then we're going to move on. Inevitably, they will say, so tell me about you. What do you do? And I'm telling you right now, like Keith said, remember, I think Keith had a great, was it Keith or Nolan? Oh my gosh, there were so many phenomenal coaches. Or Mike, you better have a real good answer of how you're going to transform my life. Because if you just say, oh, I'm a travel agent, big deal. That's an empty promise. The title travel agent is an empty promise. You don't want to hear it, but I'm telling you. So tell me how you transform lives. When people say to me, listen to me, Stuart, what do you do? And I do this all the time. It's hilarious. I say, I'm the best speaker in the world with a big smile. Honest to goodness. It's hilarious because I get a rise out of people like, no kidding. Then they say, well, what do you talk about? You know, and so it engages. You want to engage people. You want people to say, well, give me your card. Give me your card. Now, final note. Hopefully, you have uncovered what their problem is and as an organization, as a group, as an association, as a business, whatever, that will give you the idea or the validation that you do have a good idea that they may be able to take advantage of. Maybe it's a customer appreciation trip. I don't know. Maybe it's an incentive trip. I don't know. They need to reveal it. And at the end of that 15 minutes, you watch your clock. You get up and you say, listen, you promised me 15. I'm going to respect that time. And they may say, sit. We've got a half hour because they find you interesting. They like you. They have time for you. In any case, say you may want to say as you're getting up, look, I have an idea. You mentioned something before that customer loyalty is a big issue. Is your number one goal. Is that true? Yes. I have an idea. Do you mind if we schedule something? Let me buy a coffee or lunch or another 15-minute meeting in a week or two. Is that all right? Are you getting what I'm saying, friends? You catch my drift? That's what you do. This is what I do. I'm telling you what I do, and it works. All right, here we go. Amber. Hey, Amber. I have 2 small groups on the horizon. What is your view on combining 2 small groups on the same cruise? Well, I don't know. Would they get along? Do they want to be together? Are they going to be disappointed if they are? Could you be open and honest and say, listen, if you allow me to combine, and you have to, Amber, you have to define what does combine look like. What is it? What is combine? If you combine groups, you got to tell them, well, that means you're going to be sitting with each other. Your room's going to be next to each other. You're going to be doing the activities together. When you have a cocktail party, they're coming. They're going to think these things because their first impression is no. But if you can confirm that everything will remain distinct and separate, but where the advantage, what's the benefit to me by giving you, Amber, permission to combine my group with these other guys over here? Maybe it's buying power. Maybe you can put together an even higher value package because there's more people and you can negotiate better. I hope that helps. Let's see. Paris said, what do you think about a host agency who asks the agent to fill out a credit card authorization but get front and back copy of the customer credit card? Most customers aren't comfortable with that. Do most host agencies have direct payment linked to all vendors? Any host agency suggestion? Paris, my dear, that is a whole topic for another day because this gets convoluted and complex and it varies by host. And I think what I would like to do is either post this in boot camp or maybe we post this in our Group Sales Success Summit Facebook group to get input on this because this is an area that is very subjective. You know, sometimes different hosts have different rules and I don't want to say who's right or wrong. So I'm going to pass on this. Please respect me for that, but I promise not to let it go. I'm going to come back and we're going to post it somewhere. Nancy said, thanks, Stuart, for the explosion of information on the GSSSSS. I've already had 2 or more, 3 2 or 3 15-minute meetings that turned into 1 hour to discuss potential. Nancy is a boot camp member, and I've been talking about 15-minute meetings forever and how I can help. First guy runs an outdoor discovery school, has hiked 5 of the 7 highest summits, but not Kilimanjaro. I've already helped him figure out how to screen the Jane Goodall movie at their venue this winter, the largest outfitter store in Freeport, Maine, and now he wants me, that's Nancy, to present about my South Africa journey in 2016. So Nancy is showcasing what she's done in the past, friends. You need to showcase what you've done because that is your integrity boost right there. Been there, done that. Let me tell you about it. People will give you respect. You become a celebrity authority. So much potential to help more people out there and get them traveling. Yay. Thanks again. You bet. Nancy, thanks for that. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Jean Ann says, if you have your own URL like stuartloydcohen.com, you can create multiple email addresses for different purposes. I love it, Jean Ann, of course. Admin at can be used for your web developer stuff. And right, so you can, so based on if it's insurance or your Staples account, you can create an email address that is very specific to the type of service, whoever you give that email to. Like for me, I have stuart@stuartloydcohen.com, but I also have a Gmail account. So I know who I put in my Gmail account and who I put in my business account. Use all the newsletters like ASTA, Smart Brief, and TRO, so that you know what box they go into. Travel Plus, Condé Nast. You can set your email permissions to auto sort these into folders that you can access at will. I have subfolders that each news service goes into, and client communication goes into a Jean Ann folder. So that's your folder. So you give that top priority, right, friends? You give that top attention. Also have a folder of junk that receives all the emails that's not using legitimate email address. That this is what she set up. That can be set up so that all the misspells go here and don't clutter your inbox while still giving you the option to review in case a client or vendor has misspelled something like your name, Stu versus Stuart. I love it. So you even have it, people who send emails and it's coming from an info at or an admin at or a whatever, a do not reply at. Folks, you can really get granular here, and Jean Ann's got some great solutions. If you're in boot camp, Jean Ann's in boot camp, you can ask more questions there too. Jean Ann, I don't know if hopefully you're in the GSSS Facebook group too. That's great stuff. Ann says, thanks, very helpful. Susan said, thanks. Barbara says, how do you avoid chargebacks? Wow, that's a toughie. So I can only tell you for me personally, number one, I try to do a phenomenal job. So that I would never get a chargeback. Number two, my biggest issue is, my account is SLC ETC. So people see it in their credit card 30 days later, like, who is this? And they do a chargeback, and I got to jump through hoops of fire to clear it. So I tell people over and over and over, it's SLC ETC. But Barbara, discussion for a different day. They got to sign an agreement. You need a signed agreement that they're agreeing to this, because that credit card company is going to want to see that consumer signed off on it. You gave them what you promised, and it gets you off the hook. That's the most important thing there. We got, oh my goodness, a minute and a half left. Hi, Stuart. Sent you an email last week. I asked how you might recommend finding this upscale luxury river business in a small rural town. Closest city is 2 hours away. Oh my goodness. Yes, that's a huge subject. Rural. Wow. And we've got a minute left. What am I going to do? Should we have another one? You guys want to come? The next one was just for boot campers, but I want to answer this because this is how do you find an upscale luxury river business in a small town? So here's what I'm going to do, friends. And Diane, sorry I missed you. I am so far deep, catching up is not even funny. So here's what we're going to do. We got 60 seconds left, and I always end on time. So listen to me carefully. Diane, Stephanie, let's see, Kay's back. Karen is here. GS Cubed. Right, I should just say GS Cubed. I love it. Let's see, Leslie, oh my goodness, so many more coming through here. So I'm going to repost these in the most public environment possible, and that's in the GSSS Facebook group. GS Cube. Thank you, Karen. It's so much easier to say, GS Cube. Yeah, I didn't give it the name GSSS. Everyone referred to that. I'm like, that's cool. It looks cool, right? And I will respond and I will answer. And I can't even begin to tell you. Ann says, please have another. Joanne says, Anyone I'm not doing business with, I unsubscribe from the email. Oh, I agree. You do that first thing. All right, we got 11 seconds here, so it's my time to express my gratitude for giving me your hour. I tried my best to get to as many as possible and not to go too fast to give you good, substantive answers, and I hope it worked. I hope you enjoyed this. We do this every other week. I will post the unanswered questions in the GS Cube Facebook page for more. You guys are awesome. Rock and roll. Take on the day, and happy sales.